This is a developmental system made by MC10, and it has an antenna and some sensors embedded in it. And what we plan to do is work with them to advance a tattoo that could be used for authentication.
First and foremost, I want to give all praise, glory, and honor that's due to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai Bahashem, Rachaha Kodash, double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who rule well. Peace and blessing to the 144,000 and the hopeful elect, Shalom Barakathum. And there is going to be a lot of blood on the hands of the false prophets in Israel telling you what the Qaragma, Revelation 13 and 16 is not. As you can see the intro to this video, it's going to be on that very topic, which is the most pertinent prophecy that a man of the Lord can prepare himself for, okay? And I'll give precepts just to back you up on that, because we're all going to be tried. As a matter of fact, let me just go right to it. Let me go right to it to show you why these topics are important, okay? This is Revelation 3 and 10. It says, because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I also will keep thee from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the world to try them that dwell upon the earth. Okay. You see, in NLT it says, because you have obeyed my command to persevere, all right, I will protect you from the great time of testing that will come upon the whole world to test those who belong to this world. All right. That's why this is important. Okay. So if they're telling you there's no test, basically. Okay. That's what essentially is what they're saying. A lot of camps are teaching there ain't no Jacob's trouble. Mainly I'm thinking about IUIC. Okay. And so if it's gonna test you regardless, let me silence this. And they're telling you that there is no test, then what does that mean? They're lying to you, man. All right? These things are important, okay? Verse 11, it says, I am coming soon. Hold on to what you have so that no one will take away your crown. And they're going to try to gaslight you and make you think this isn't prophecy coming to pass. This is just the next step. It's the fourth industrial revolution. We're going into a new age. Like Donald Trump said, the golden era. No, the golden era is over with.
Let me show you this, a video of Regina Dugan. Now, she is the former director of Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency. That's at DARPA, which is a military defense establishment here in the United States. Listen to what she said most recently. This is chilling.
A means of authentication that you could simply wear on your skin every day for a week at a time, say an electronic tattoo. Now, we're talking about wearables. Everybody's interested in I'm profoundly interested in wearables. And
profoundly interested. Where did you hear the term wearables? Okay. Most recently, you heard it from RFK, the current Secretary of Health and Human Services. Okay, who's the descendants of the Kennedy family. He's the son of Robert Kennedy, who was assassinated, and who was the nephew of John F. Kennedy, who was the president who was assassinated. Now they got that whole family put in check, man. Okay, that guy works directly for the small hats. All the people around him, they all are surrounded by people that are small hats or small hat adjacent, and that's why he's such a cuck, you know, for those people. Okay. So when he kept promising you about he's going to change this about certain medical procedures that he was against, and now he's changed his tune, hasn't he? Okay. So they're going to implement this thing, and remember that the guy Anthony Fauci, okay, he a lot of his work was under the Department of Defense, the DOD. So they look at biolabs and weapons and things of that nature. It's all under the Department of Defense, okay? That's what Health and Human Services, a lot of it goes
I'll
under.
tell you is that there
Where
are
have you
some,
read that?
we've made a lot of advances in wearables, but there's still some fundamental problems that we haven't solved. Like one of them is the mechanical mismatch between humans and electronics, right? So electronics are boxy and rigid, humans are curvy and soft. That's a mechanical mismatch problem. Well, a researcher at the University of Illinois, his name is Dr. Rogers, what he discovered is that he could use standard CMOS techniques to make islands of high-performance silicon connected by accordion-like structures that would allow it to stretch up to 200% and still be performing. And what he did is he founded a company and they started making electronic tattoos. So I'm wearing one here on my arm.
Do we have
Here.
a camera to get a?
This is a developmental system made by.
Yeah, and you know that's spray paint, you know. She might have it, you know, but this is what the devil does, man. Okay, this is what he was up to in the flood. You had the lineage of Cain. They were known as what? The artificer. Okay. See? This is Genesis 4. Okay. I started at 19, and Lamech took unto him 2 wives. The name of one was Adah, and the name of the other Zillah, and they bare Jabal, and he was the father of such as dwell in tents, and of such as have cattle. Okay. And his brother's name was Jubal, and he was the father of such as all that handle the harp and the organ. Okay. And Esau kind of puts this into to Satan was a musician, you know, because they talk about the lineage of Cain, you know. But verse 22, it says, and Zillah, she also bare Tubal Cain, an instructor of every artificer in brass and iron, and the sister of Tubal Cain was Naamah. See, which I believe it means to be calm, or no, sincere maybe. Could be wrong. Nope. Loveliness, pleasantness. You see, but the point is that they were the artificers back in the ancient world, man. Okay, and that was that lineage. And when you go down to Genesis 6, verse 5, it says, and the Most High saw that the wickedness of man was great in the earth, and that imaginations of the thoughts of his heart was only evil continually. All right. The same thing happened back then. It is happening again now. All right. And it says, and the Lord Jehovah said, I will destroy man whom I have created from the face of the earth, both man and beast, and creeping thing in the fowls of the air, for it repented me that I have made man. All right. It goes up to a verse before that, I believe. Yep, below that, verse 11, it says, the earth also was corrupt before the Most High, and the earth was filled with violence, okay? And why was it filled with violence? Because Cain is the proto-Edomite, okay? He's before Esau in lineage, okay? The Lord wiped the flood out, okay? But spiritually, he came back as Esau. And we know that he was going to live by what? His sword, okay? So this is the same spirit, okay? So you have spirits that come back into the earth, okay? But the Lord had a judgment, okay? And this really is to split the worlds into two, okay? Because you have the pre-flood era and you have the post-flood era, okay? And we're at the end of the second post-flood era, okay? So the artificer is back to work again, and people don't realize how all of this ties together. But we're here to make it plain. And this goes into Revelation 13.
MC10.
The artificer here.
And it has an antenna and some sensors embedded in it. And what we plan to do is work with them to advance a tattoo that could be used for authentication. Now, it may be true that 10 to 20-year-olds don't want to wear a watch on their wrist, but you can be sure that they'll be far more interested in wearing an electronic tattoo, if only to piss off their parents. Right?
And that can have a design, right? Because
Sure.
they would certainly want.
Yes, yeah, they trying to make light of it, you know. And notice they're talking about, you know, the younger ones, okay? You got to peep this double, man, okay? Sirach 12 and 10, never trust thine enemy, for like his iron rusteth, so is his wickedness, okay? If you skip down, to verse 16, it says, an enemy speaketh sweetly with his lips, but in his heart he imagineth how to throw thee into a pit. He will weep with his eyes, but if he find opportunity, he will not be satisfied with blood. All right, this is who this nigga is on the stage, man. Okay, because they are the real niggas. Okay, man or woman.
Options. And that's something that you wear, but you could also imagine including authentication in just your daily habits. So I take a vitamin every morning. What if I could take vitamin authentication?
What?
Vitamin authentication. Look, I have one right here. Well, here.
Look, see how that came out of nowhere? Okay, a vitamin authentication. And see, this isn't natural to the body to want to do something like this. So what are they going to have to do? Program you. And they've been doing it year after year after year after year. Okay, they're putting it in these sci-fi movies. Oh, that looks cool. They kind of glorify certain things, okay? And then when they actually want to bring it out, they start selling you on it, okay? And how do they sell you on it? They make sure that you really need it. They make sure you're down bad economically, that you don't have any goals, you know, you don't have too many ambitions, okay? You're gonna always be happy with the top 10 people owning half the wealth, okay? And then they're gonna hit you with a crisis and scare the hell out of you to push you to do it. You know, that's how they get down.
I'll
man,
let you hold
okay?
it. Would you like to hold it?
I'll hold it.
Okay. What if I could take vitamin
Listen
authentication?
to what she said again.
What?
Vitamin authentication. Look, I have one right here. Well, here, I'll let you hold it. Would you like to hold it?
I'll hold it.
Okay. So
You guys see it?
this pill has a small chip inside of it with a switch. It also has what amounts to an inside-out potato battery. When you swallow it, the acids in your stomach serve as the electrolyte, and they power it up, and the switch goes on and off. And it creates an 18-bit ECG-like signal in your body, and essentially your entire body becomes your authentication token. Yes, this is true.
You see that? Your whole body becomes the authentication token, okay? See, this is what they don't teach you in the IUIC, that there's a play that Esau is doing, okay? It ain't sin. He wants you, okay? And how is he going to do that? How? Well, the Defense Advanced Research Project Administration is telling you, okay? Why do you think it's coming out of DARPA? Because it's going to be very advanced technology. You're running around like, how could he, you know? I always get this mixed up. Exodus 21 and 5. Okay? Because this was a custom in the ancient world. When you would slave yourself to a master, you would do a particular act that would signify that you belong to them, okay? And so if you go down this path, this is what you're doing. Exodus 21 and 5. And if the servant shall plainly say, I love my master, my wife, and my children, I will not go out free, then his master shall bring him unto the judges. He shall also bring him to the door or unto the doorpost, and his master shall bore his ear with an awl, and he shall serve him forever. Okay? See, that's what that represents. When somebody brands you, when they had us as chattel slavery, they would brand us. That means the brand is permanent. Okay, that means we belong to that family. If that slave gets away, okay, and he runs off, All right. Whoever finds him knows exactly where to bring him because he belongs to that man forever. Okay. Not just the man, his offspring as well. Okay. So when we read in Revelation 3 and 10 about that test, that's what this test is, man. Looking in the NLT, how it puts it, it cuts it. Revelation 3 and 10 again, because you have obeyed my commandment to persevere, I will protect you from the great time of testing that will come upon the whole world to test those who belong to this world. Okay? Because that's ultimately what you're doing when you fail the test. You're telling the Most High and Satan who you belong to. Okay? It's like who you gonna choose? You know? That's what the hour of temptation is. Okay, it ain't sin in all its forms. All right, and they're gonna create conditions in the earth. They're already setting the conditions up where you're gonna feel really compelled to take it. And if you're not compelled to take it, you're gonna be afraid of what happens if you don't take it. All right.
People are applauding it.
Okay, but
Okay, so wait. So it's really true. So what this means is that becomes my first superpower. I really want this superpower. It means that my arms are like wires, my hands are like alligator clips. When I touch my phone, my computer, my door, my car, I'm authenticated in. First superpower. Like, I want that.
So we're not shipping.
See that? First superpower. And notice how she listed all those things that would be intertwined into it. She said my car, my door handle. Let me play that back. Everything you touch.
People are applauding it.
okay, but
Authenticated.
Okay, so wait. So it's really true. So what this means is that becomes my first superpower. I really want this superpower. It means that my arms are like wires, my hands are like alligator clips. When I touch my phone, my computer, my door, my car, I'm authenticated in. First superpower. Like, I want that.
So we're not shipping that right away.
Yeah, no. We're not shipping that right away.
You see that? So basically, when they set these new security, you won't be able to do anything. Okay? Because you can't, once you swallow that, man, you can't get it up out of you. All right? That motherfucker's going to lodge somewhere in your gut, and it's going to be stuck there. Okay?
But
see?
it
but
sounds like...
this is FDA cleared?
So here's the thing. This is not science fiction. This pill was actually made by a company called Proteus, and they've developed it for medical applications. That pill has been CE stamped and cleared by the FDA. You can take 30 of those per day for the rest of your life.
Yeah, red number 40 was cleared by the FDA. Okay, yellow number 5 was cleared by the FDA. Okay, glyphosate, that's cleared by the FDA. You see? So if we're getting to the time where people don't trust if something was approved by the FDA. Why do you think RFK was so popular to go in there? Because he was talking about taking all of that down. And now look at what you got. He's telling you we want everybody with wearables in 4 years. And now this bitch is coming out talking about wearables. All right.
So that seems chilling, and the people there are giggling and applauding it. And this is what every quote unquote conspiracy theorist has been warning against for years.
Yep. Why are they applauding it? Okay. That's in Isaiah. We brought this out at camp. Isaiah 60 and 2, it says, "For behold, the darkness shall cover the earth, and gross darkness the people." Okay? "But the Lord Yahweh shall arise upon thee, and his glory shall be seen upon thee." See, we're going to stand out from these people because these people are the dead, man. And when they take that, they're going to be in a permanent sleep. They're going to be incapable of waking up. That's why it says they're going to blaspheme the Lord, because they sealed their death. When you take that charagma, you sealed your death, man. Okay? Spiritually and physically. All right? And we're going to be the complete opposite of these people. The light is going to be in us, man. We're going to be able to do those miracles that she's describing on the right-hand side in that day. Okay? Which is very soon. Okay? That's what you have is gross darkness. That's why they're clapping in the audience. Okay.
And here they are on stage bragging about that they have this technology. They're going to put chips inside your pills. So then you become a trans. That's the first step into transhumanism, as far as I'm concerned. They're going to put tattoos on you with antennas so they can tell who. So this sounds like some kind of Orwellian nightmare. What do you say to this?
Well, that is actually very dangerous technology because the point is simply this. What if you do not fall in line? I'm pretty sure with a flip of a switch, they can just turn it off and you cease to exist. When your entire existence is based upon you having to authenticate yourself with some kind of a chip, and that chip gets turned off, then you no longer exist. And then what we actually would have is dead men walking in reality. You would be literally a dead man, yet you are not really dead, but you would be for everyone else.
That's the spirit. She said it. You are a dead man. Okay. All right. The scriptures speak about the congregation of the dead. Okay. We were dead.
You wouldn't be able to buy anything. You wouldn't be able to open the front door of your own house. You wouldn't be able to do anything anymore. You're literally a dead man walking.
Yeah, imagine getting locked out of your own house because you didn't do what Esau said. Okay. He said you got to eat pork. You got to eat it, or you're gonna get locked out of your house.
Well, yeah. Why don't we try that? Seriously? No. This is the ultimate tool to control every single human being, and you don't even have to be close to that human being, near that human being. You just, flip of a switch, and boom, he's gone.
So this
Scary.
is this is their way to disappear people, and that
Yes.
make you a non-person, right?
Exactly.
This all the bad terms we've heard. They're bragging about right now on stage in front of a camera, and you have a auditorium full of people giggling and applauding it.
Yeah.
And what this means is that we have to raise people's consciousness to push back against this because this is their agenda.
And I believe this could be what John Revelator saw going onto the forehead. Now we know the right hand is going to be primarily what's going to be going down for the majority of the people. Okay, and really right hand is going to be your main hand. Okay, Apostle Hall was going into that word dexteros. Okay, which
This is really what they want: total control of you. And
exactly.
This
Exactly.
is the kind of stuff people worry about when they have meetings at the WEF. And this is the kind of stuff that the handful of global billionaires are actually working on. And it's all about control. And it's got nothing to do with safety or your personal freedom or making your life better. It's about being able to, they flip a switch and they can then turn off your bank account, which we saw they do. We saw them do in Canada when the truckers protested, and they were correct, by the way. They were on the right side. And in fact, court agreed with them. And they were able to flip a switch and turn off their bank account. So now they can't travel. They can't pay their mortgage. They can't buy gas. They can't buy a plane ticket. They can't pay their electricity bill. They can't do anything. And so this is even worse because this makes you everything's they can switch off your whole body. There's no way you can get around that. And it's scarier than I ever could have imagined. And there they are. The fact that they're brazenly bragging about it like it's penicillin is mind-boggling.
Yeah, and it's also interesting, as you were saying, they were giggling about it, It's like, they make it sound so, joy, the word joy comes back to mind, like, what Kamala Harris was trying to do with her campaign, bring back the joy. There is nothing joyful about enslaving human beings and not even have them understand.
Well, I disagree with that. Because you people gotta get locked up, okay? As a matter of fact, so while we're on that subject, in that same chapter, let's just go to that chapter, since she said that, all right? Because that's where I wanted to go anyway. Revelation 13, if you go to verse 10, it says, he that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here's the patience and the faith of the saints. So that's not true. Okay. See, the wicked needs to be enslaved. Okay. Because if you don't deal with the wicked, it's going to spread like a cancer, man. Okay. All right. When your body responds to pathogens in the body, the white blood cells and the other immune responses, they quarantine it. Okay. What does quarantine mean? That means they silo it away from the rest of the body. Okay. They restrict it. They put it in straits so it doesn't, so the pathogens don't float around replicating and messing up other organs. Okay. And that's what Esau Edom is. We're going to find him, all the pathogens in there, we're going to find them. Okay. And we're going to put them in chains. Okay. Because you're a cancer to the earth, man. All right. Thus saith the Lord. Okay. When Yahushua gets back and we get those new bodies, it's going to be a wrap. None of this technology that you're trying to push on the world, none of that's going to come to fruition fully. Okay. But it is going to get to a point where it's going to be looked at as a miracle. All right. And people are going to be drawn to it. Like it basically is now. Okay. It says, if you go down to verse 13, it says, and he doeth great wonders, so that he maketh fire come down from heaven on earth in the sight of men. Okay. Speaking about missiles and things of that nature. Okay. It says, and he deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast. And those miracles, these are part of them. Okay. You don't even have nothing on you, and you can just walk to your car door handle. It knows it's you. It opens up because it's got an 18-bit EKG pulse authentication inside of you. All right. And it says, saying to them that dwell on the earth that they should make an image to the beast, which had the wound by a sword and did live. And this is the Roman Empire being reincarnated into what you see today, this abomination known as the West. Okay. And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. Okay. And that is what this is going to boil down to. If you don't take this offer that you really can't refuse, okay, he's going to deal with you, man. And that's what I mean by the hour of temptation, the dire straits every man is going to be in. Okay. That you're going to know which side you belong on. So that, like Yahushua said, those that are willing to save his life shall lose it. Okay. And those willing to lose his life, you're going to get eternal life. Okay. And it's speaking about the elect, because only the elect are going to pass this test that'll be saved. Okay. You're going to have other Edomites that reject it and they'll die or whatever. But this is speaking about the elect of Israel. Okay. So you're going to be forced. Okay. There's going to be a test. We're telling you this right now. IUIC don't have it. ISUPK don't have it. GLCC, all of these other camps. What was it? Wi-Fi or WFI. Okay. All of these other camps, they're lying straight up. At this point, there's no point. At this point, there's no way you don't know, man. Okay. It's obvious. It says verse 16, and he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. Okay. Now they say your right hand represents you doing things. But when you look at the word mark, the root word karax, it goes into a physical mark. It's usually used as a stake in the ground. When you mark a landmark or a territory, you put a stake in the ground to say this is where the landmark ends and this is where a new land begins. Okay. It's the same word used for that, same word used for branding or cattle. Okay. Look up the word palisade. Okay. But I wanted to go to this right hand, Dexios. Okay. It says the right hand. Okay. But when you look at it more, okay, It says to take with the hand, to take up, to receive, use or replacing, receive or grant access to a visitor, to receive, okay? So it's going into the word hand, okay? And hand is used metaphorically to represent oftentimes skills. Okay? When somebody has dexterity, that means they have skills with their hands. Like Stephen Curry is known as a very dexterous individual because he's good at shooting three-pointers. You see, he's got a lot of skills using his hands. Any skilled craftsmen with their hands are dexterous. Okay? So when you see the word dexterous there, it's really going into the hand that you use that has the most skill, meaning the hand you use the most of, okay? And for the vast majority of people, it's their right hand. But it doesn't have to be their right hand. Some people are left-handed, okay? So they're going to be more skillful with their left hand, all right? And that guy brought it out like over 20 years ago. They're gonna go into your right hand or your left hand, whichever is your strong hand. That's what they're gonna put it into, because that's the one you pick up the most. That's what you use the most. And they said when you move your hand, that charges it. Okay, you know, that's the hand that you use the most of. Okay, and it says dexter. It says on the right. Okay. And but it goes into the skill. Okay, so it's your skilled hand, it's your most used hand, and the vast majority of people are right-handed, and that's why they get confused when you go to Revelation 14 and 9. It just says hand. Okay, it says, and the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, if any man worship the beast and his image and receive his mark in his forehead or in his hand, okay, the same shall drink of the wrath of the Most High, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation. Let's look at the word hand here. Should be the same word, I believe. Actually, no. It's for the actual word hand, like a general hand. Okay. So the word there is kair. Okay. And it goes into the word hand. All right. So it generalizes it here in Revelation 14 and 9. And that's because you're going to have people that have it in their right hand or in their left hand or in their forehead. But the vast majority of people that John saw, they were getting it in their right hand because that's their skilled hand. Okay. That's what it's going into, man. Okay. So you can't say we weren't going into these things and warning you of what's to come. Let's watch a little bit
Realize
more.
that they're
We'll shut it
being
down.
enslaved, right? But yeah, that's how they do it. It's so joyful. And, you know, the teenagers, oh, they will want that just to piss off their parents, you know, that kind of attitude. That's exactly how they're getting these people to actually go ahead and do it. Oh, if it's cool, if it'll piss off my parents, yeah, let's have it. They make it sound fun. They make it sound joyful. It's not. This is actually, dehumanizing. It's the worst kind of totalitarianism you can actually imagine, given the technological means they have at their disposal already. Once we do slip in, you know, and go fully totalitarian, I mean, we're no longer talking about just 40 years of Eastern Germany. We're not talking about 70 years Soviet Union. We will be talking about a very, very long time if we will be have a chance to ever get out of it ever again. That's remains.
But his hand shall not perform his enterprise. Okay, that's written in Job. Okay, the 5th chapter. Okay, he's not going to succeed, but he's going to get you to fail the test. Okay, you're going to fail the test, And that's all the Most High need to come back. Okay, now we know for sure who's who. Okay, you've consummated the marriage with Satan in the bedchambers when you put that thing in you. Okay,
Be seen. So we need to fight this now, and we need to expose it now, because it has nothing to do with living as a human being. You would actually be, yeah, degraded to just like a functioning part in some kind of a malleable mass that the globalitarian misanthropists get to shuffle around any which way they desire.
That, she says, gives you a superpower. It actually gives the government a superpower. It gives the oligarchs a superpower to turn you off and to make you a non-person and to disappear you and to take your access away from freedom, to take your access away from your access to your money, which is access to your freedom, your ability to travel, your ability to live. They can shut you out of your own car, your own house, your own bank accounts. And it's not a superpower for you. It's a superpower for the oligarchs and the establishment.
right. But they're gonna tell you, look all the benefits you get, but what you really giving them is power over you, man. That's how witchcraft works. Okay, the age-old trope of you signing a deal with Satan. He offers you something really nice, but then you don't realize you giving him way more than he gave you.
And
See?
Dr. Jane Ruby tweeted out a picture of what one of those tattoos look like. There it is. It's got temperature sensors, strain gauges, an LED, wireless power, wireless communication oscillator, wireless antenna. This is what they're calling a tattoo that they're going to put on your body. And this is supposed to be a superpower for you. It's anything but. It's a superpower. It's chains to make you a slave to the establishment and the oligarchs. It's a superpower for the.
And remember, RFK said we're about to start the biggest advertising campaign for wearables. Okay, so just know they're gonna really market this as superpower, spiritual power. Okay, RFK said it. And she's using terms like superpower. What do you think they're about to put on these commercials, man? Okay, if we're here for a next Super Bowl, Lord willing, we're not. What do you think is gonna be on there? Huh? Now we know his plans are gonna get spoiled. He's gonna have to hurry up and do an early version of it because he's not gonna have enough time. So who knows? But this might be his real plan. But he may have to settle for plan B. Which is just that rice grain we told you about. Okay? But either way, we know it's going to be something on your right hand. Predominantly your right hand.
Oligarchs and the establishment, not for you. Hey, come see us on tour. We're going to be in Toronto.
All right. So with that, Lord willing, this is edifying. Call halal Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai Bahashim Rachak Shalom. Kwam Yasharov.